Hey everybody, it's Womate Creations here. It's Sherry behind the camera and G in front of it. And what are we making today?
We are making the Chalupa Bag. Isn't it so cute? And of course with this fabric you can use all kinds of different colored zippers to enhance that. Here's another example of a Chalupa bag, different fabrics, and a pouch that you can use your leftovers from your quilted fat quarter sandwich. Will make a nice little pouch like this. So you're gonna need a marking pen of some sort. To mark your rulers, you'll want to do it in the metallic marker. And only mark what the pattern here shows you to mark. All the instructions are in here, but it shows you which lines to mark. If you have already marked up your ruler for another reason, just know that it's easier if you don't mark it ahead of time. If you only mark it the way your pattern shows. Okay? And let's see, what else? So your fat quarter sandwich,
You're gonna need the half moon template.
Yeah, the half moon template, 11-inch half moon template. And then the fat quarter sandwich is 2 pieces of cotton, some cotton batting, and some woven interfacing. I'd use fusible woven interfacing on the outer bag fabric, against the outer bag fabric. You can use stabilizers, whatever kind you like to use, but the woven interfacing that's fusible is very good. So, as you quilt this sandwich up, some things may shift. So as long as you have 17 inches this way, you'll be good, and 21 inches this way, and you'll have plenty of room. So usually fat quarters are 18 by 22, but after you quilt on them a little bit, some things may shift, but it's fine. So you can have it 17 and still be able to get what you need from it. So we're going to start off showing you how to cut for this bag. Okay, so first I'm going to make this 17 so I don't have to do trimming of a couple pieces later. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off at 17 inches. So 17 inches high that way. And it's 21 here, so that gives me plenty of room. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this from the right hand side. I'm going to do 3 inches, 2 2-inches, and 2 1-inch sections, strips. So I'm going to do 3 inches first and cut that off, and then I'm going to do 2 inches twice. And that's for your zipper pieces. 2 inches. And then 2 inches again. Okay. So 3, 2, 2, 1, and 1. So I'm going to do 1 here. One inch there. And another 1 inch. Okay, and then we're done. We're done with that. Now we need to make our we're going to subcut these here in a minute, but we're going to go ahead and take our 11-inch half moon template, and we are going to cut these half moon template shapes out of here. So I'm going to make this, bring it towards me so I can twist it good. And because of the no slip grip, it doesn't mess up. Now, since I already have this cut out, oh, it looks like I didn't cover on the bottom, but that's fine, it'll get sewn in. I'm gonna go ahead and take and mark, see where this mark is right here on the half moon template? We're going to mark that right here on our piece while we have it. Now we're going to cut out the other piece. I'll cut it from here since it already has a
Straight edge.
straight edge. And then cut that. All right, and we're going to do that again to this piece. And this is the halfway point, and you will be using that later. So we're going to set these aside in our pile that is going to go to the serger in a few minutes. So we got our 2 half moon templates. Okay, we've got our 1-inch strips that need to be cut in 1 by 13 segments. So we're gonna, I'm just gonna go ahead and use this. I'm gonna cut this off at 13 inches. And these will be our handle pieces.
See how versatile your half moon is?
And then these I'm gonna cut into 1.5 inch increments here. They're already 1 inch, so we need 1 by 1.5. Cut that off, and those will end up being your tabs. So I'm gonna set these aside. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and clip them together so they don't get lost on me. And then we've got our 2 by 17 inch.
Don't you need 4 of those tabs?
No,
Oh.
just 2. And then we're gonna have our zipper. This is where our zipper is gonna get installed at. Okay.
Oh, you meant the tab. Okay, I'm thinking the ones that the X goes on for the handle. I don't know why I was
that's
thinking
the
you.
handle. Yeah. So here's the zipper, and these are going to get put onto here. So we're gonna only serge one side of these, but I'll explain that at the serger. And so those are 2 by 17. And then we need our 3-inch one cut at 11 inches, okay? So we'll cut this off at 11 inches, so it's 3 by 11. Let me check my, yep, 3 by 11. And just set these extras aside for later. You might want to do something, make something out of it. So now that we've got all our pieces cut out, and this is what you have left over.
Looks like a bikini.
Like a little bikini. But we'll cut this off and we'll make a pouch out of it. So that's your extra piece. You can keep it for later. And we're gonna go to the serger, and actually I'll explain up here. For your tabs, you're gonna go around the whole perimeter of the tabs. You're gonna do the whole perimeter of your straps. Your 3 by 11 piece will get sewn onto this chalupa with the serger. If you don't have a serger, you can do it on an overcast stitch or a zigzag stitch on your machine, or just sew it together with a straight line, doesn't matter. And then our zipper pieces, we're gonna just serge on one side, and that way we can keep our pieces straight, knowing where we're gonna put the zipper in at. So let's head over to the serger. So now we're gonna take our 3 by 11 piece and put them right sides together. And we are gonna serge this.
Right sides together with the half moon.
Yep, with the half moon template. I'm gonna lift this up, and I am not gonna let my serger cut anything off because these are already cut to size. So I'm just gonna ride my serger, or ride my project along the left side of that knife so that it's not cutting off things. I'm just sewing it together, basically. All right, so now we'll take the other half moon template and put it on the other side, right sides together. And you're gonna match up those ends. And we're gonna put this underneath here. I don't have my gloves on. Can't grab a hold of this fabric the right way. Let me make sure I'm lined up because I'm so used to having my gloves on. Okay, so we're gonna shove that underneath there. And again, we're just keeping our project to the left of that knife so that it doesn't cut off, but it serges those pieces together. This is now your main piece, okay? Right like that. And you can cut these tails off because they are just going to get sewn in and you don't have to worry about burying them. Okay? All right. Now we'll set that aside. Okay, now we're going to just serge each of our sides. And again, we are not cutting anything off because we've already got these cut accurately. And this is what you call chain serging, where you just keep this just to the left of this knife and just keep feeding in pieces, just like you would chain piece at your sewing machine. You can chain piece on your serger. Let me get my pedal the right way here. And I'm just going to keep feeding these through. Now this is the zipper. These are on the sides of the zipper here, so you can pick which side, you know, to serge and which side not to serge. So because I'm serging this right here, this is where I'm going to be applying my zipper on the serge side. So when I get done with this piece, I can put my zipper pieces away because those are done. And you don't have to worry about the serging tails on these either because this is going to get sewn in as well. So there's my two pieces for my zipper. I'll set that aside. And now I'm going to cut these apart. Oh, dropped it. And now we're going to do the other sides. Now right now I don't have to worry about having long tails to tuck in. I will when I'm doing the short sides of these. But right now I'm just doing the long sides of everything and I don't have to worry about tucking the tails. Which means I don't have to worry about the tail being very long. These are my handles going in. And another tab. So there we go. Now we're going to cut all these apart. Now this next part, you're going to need to have all your tails long enough to where you can tuck them in. So I'm going to start this one off by pulling my tail out a little bit. I like to have a lot extra because I don't want to fight with it when I'm making my tails, when I'm tucking my tails in. So there, I want at least this long. Okay, so that side's done. And pull my tail out a little bit and serge this side, leave myself a long tail, and I'll put these aside to tuck in my tails, but as I finish them. So it's better to have a longer tail than a shorter tail because you don't want to have to fight with them when you're trying to tuck them in. Same way with these tabs on the short sides, we're going to just do that. Oh, I hope I left enough in between here. See? This one is not optimal. But on the tabs, you can cut two of them off and you'll have to tuck two. So I'll just make sure that this side's longer. So I'll be cutting this side off. We won't have to tuck those in because they're going to get sewn in when we put this on the main part of the bag. So I'll just make this tails longer and I'll cut those first ones off. Okay, so we're going to cut these off here and here.
Real life sewing, y'all.
No, that was intended like that, Sherry.
No, but the other one, you said.
Oh, because
that's why you chose that side to cut off.
That's why I chose that side. You're right. Okay, so we will start tucking these tails, and we'll come back. I'll show you how to tuck one, and then I'm not gonna sit and do that on camera. So I'm gonna feed my serging tail through my tapestry needle, right? It's got the big hole, and I'm just gonna pass it through the back side through the stitches. Now you can do this on the edge as well, and when you pull it through, just have your excess, cut your excess off, and it's tucked in where it won't come unraveled. You can't even hardly see it because I ran it through on the side. I'll show how to do it just in those stitches as well, like this. I'll just feed it through here and not take it to the edge and show you what that looks like. You can do it however you want. Long as you are tucking those tails in, it's great. So go through and tuck in all your tails so your pieces will be ready. Okay, now we're gonna put our tabs on our main piece. So remember we tucked in our tails on one side but just cut them on the other. So the side that are just cut, we're gonna just place these in the center of this short side here. These are our tabs.
That doesn't look like center.
It doesn't?
Nope.
Let me see.
It's the colors.
It's probably the colors. Yeah, okay, right like that. If you want to take time to measure it, you can. It's not that fiddly. And so here's the side that I tucked in. So I'm going to put those in, and the sides that I didn't tuck, I'm going to line up right here. And all we're going to do is take a lap around this whole main piece, and we're going to secure those tabs down at the same time. So I'm going to take that off and just start going back and forth across that tab. Remember, your tabs on things are going to take a beating most of the time, so you'll want to make sure to have those tacked down real good. Got a loose thread here. Let me make sure I'm going over that real good. Okay, and now
how much?
Yeah, just maybe 1/8 of an inch all the way around. The whole purpose in this step right here is to secure these edges so that they're not poofing up when you're trying to assemble the bag. So we're just going to take this lap around here just to secure those edges down and
Secure the tabs.
Secure the tabs. Back and forth, and then keep it moving. And you'll see why you don't want this poofy when you're trying to assemble. So just keep going along the side here, and then just cut this off. Now your tabs are secure, and if you have any kind of things sticking up, just cut them off. Okay, now we will prepare our zipper for installation. You can cut off your serging tails on these if you didn't already, because all this is going to get sewn in anyway. And we will take our glue stick and just run your glue along where the serge is, right like that. Did I not grab my zipper? Let me see. I didn't grab the zipper. It's up there on the table. Hold on a second. Let me just hold this. I actually cannot film doing this, so anyway, you're just going along the serged side, and that'll help keep that zipper in place while you're sewing it on. So I hope I didn't move that camera too much. That was dumb even trying to do that. Okay, so here's your zipper. You're going to place your zipper tape face down. The teeth of the zipper are face down, And you want to make sure that on either end of your quilted piece, you have an excess on both sides, on either end. So, you're gonna put that, I like to turn it around like this and just push this down against where I had that glue, and making sure that my zipper tape is still along the side of the serge and the edge of my quilted piece. So I pushed it down good like that, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold this down with some wide mouth clips, and I like how these magically appear. This is wonderful. And we're gonna go like that, and next, while this is setting up, while it's drying, you don't have to wait for it to dry. I just like to do that and then go do something else. So right now we're gonna take our main piece and go back to the cutting table while this is drying, and I'm going to assemble where my handles are going to get placed on. And so we'll meet you at the cutting table. Okay, now we're going to get our handles placed on here correctly. So as you marked your ruler before, you're only going to be using these 2 marks here, okay? So we're going to line this up with the edges of our piece, our main piece, and we're going to use this seam as a place to put our ruler. So that's where how we're measuring. We're going to lay that along that seam. Okay, with this on the edges, take our 1x16, and if I match these up like this, they're not matching up, right? So we're going to turn this around, and we're going to match these markings up where they're lined up. This will give you the perfect placement for your handles. See these 2 marks? This is where your handles are going to go. Your 1x13 pieces. Those are your handles. We're going to place them right here.
That's genius.
Yes, I know. But first we need to mark these at 1 inch so we'll know where to sew our X's on when we go to sew. So we're going to take these and just put our 1x6 ruler. I love this ruler to death. And this is 1 inch. So we're going to just take our pin and we're going to just mark we're going to be sewing over that. So this is where we're going to make our X to apply it to the bag. So we're going to mark each side of this 1x13. We're going to mark it at 1 inch on all of these. That just shows you where to start your X at. I'll show you that in a minute. So we're going to take these, put it in our hand, bend it like this, and just set it right up against this ruler, okay? So we're going to take our wide mouth clips and we're going to fasten that to that and that. See, now this is pushing up against this ruler so it's in the right place. Now you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to secure it in place up here out of your way. Okay, and now that's placed in there right. So let's turn this around and do it again on the opposing side. We're going to line these marks up, and we're going to line this ruler up with that seam. That's that. And we're going to slap this ruler right down on top of it, right like that.
Genius. I love this part.
I know, because there's no measuring and stuff that has to happen. When you got the right tools, it's easy. So again, so now we've got all of our handles in place and ready to secure onto our main piece. And we're going to jump back over to the sewing machine and start on our zipper. Okay, I've changed out to my zipper foot, but I have to change my screen. So I'm going to hit this t-shirt. I'm going to hit the down button. I'm going to hit the pouch, zipper pouch, and then I like to use this one right here, top stitch right front side. This is a position that I keep this in the entire time, where I don't have to switch the needle or the position, the needle position or the foot. So this is how I'm doing it. So right now we're going to take that glued on piece and we are going to just take a stitch right down through here. We're going to ride our zipper foot along the edge of this zipper, and we're going to start off of the zipper a little bit, and we're just going to keep going right through here, letting our zipper foot ride along the edge of this quilt. Okay, I'm just going to keep it going. Okay, now that's the one side of it. Now to keep it from flapping, we're going to just bend this over, and at the same time I'm using my fingers to bend over the back part as well, the quilted part back here. So I'm going to be pushing this over and making sure that is straight and flipped while I'm sewing it. So I'm going to start off of my quilt a little bit. Now this time I am going to ride this foot along the zipper, the teeth of my zipper. So I'm just going to keep with my thumb over here, I'm going to keep pushing this quilt piece. I'm going to keep it flipped over so that way it's getting stitched down on the underneath side. So I do like 5 or 6 inches, and then I make sure again, just keep on riding along the tape, the teeth of that zipper tape. And I've got it straightened out so I can go all the way to the end now. And this is doing 2 things. It's top stitching it to make it look a little prettier, and it's securing that flap. So I'll flip this over and show you how that's sewn down now. Okay? Now, we're going to take our other piece. Now, remember earlier I told you with the glue you didn't have to wait, but you can wait. So this time I'm going to do it and we're not going to wait. So we're going to go along this serged edge here with our glue again. Okay. And now it's important to line this piece up. The edges of your quilt has to match up. So we're going to line that up and start pushing it down. Now, I find it easier to do it from this side as well. So I'm going to flip that over right like that, and I'm going to follow this tape along my quilted piece. Okay. Going to push it down so it's pushing into that glue a little bit, and instead of letting it dry like I did the other side, I'm just going to go for it, and you'll see it doesn't make a difference. Now anytime I'm putting a zipper in, I like to see my zipper tape up top. I don't like to do it like this, or any other way, because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to ride this foot again along the edge of this and put that tape in, that zipper in on this side. So I'm just riding along the edge of my piece here. And then I'm going to cut that off. Do again, I'm going to make sure this is flipped over here. And start that little off of the quilt. Once I get it started, I just got to make sure that's flipped over the right way. And kind of, run along the side of your foot along the teeth, and you'll get it in the right place for it to be top stitched and keep that flap secured underneath. So I like to arrange it, and then I'll sew up to where my finger was, and then now here I've got the whole thing pushed down right, so I can go all the way to the end now. I just kind of hold it down with my fingers while I'm sewing. And that's that on there. So now you can absolutely cut the excess part of your zipper off, okay? But in order to do that, make sure you have your zipper pull on the quilt side of your piece, because if you cut this zipper off and the zipper pulls over here, you've lost your zipper pull. So right now, I'm just gonna come down the side of here and just secure this before I cut that off. So, and it's just like an 1/8 of an inch, just barely on there. When you come across your teeth, kind of squeeze it together so the teeth stay together and just go back and forth, and you're providing a stopper for that zipper, okay? Now we'll do that to the other side. And of course on this side, there's no zipper pull, so we don't have to worry about that. We're just gonna get this secured down. Go across the zipper and go back and forth, making that zipper be able to stop there. And now you can absolutely cut this zipper piece off.
I was just about to say, you need to do that part before you absolutely cut the zipper off, like you said before you did that.
Okay. And you guys, I don't throw these away. I like to use them as tabs or for other projects. So, yeah, I'm a hoarder, but they come in handy in other projects. So right now, all I'm going to do is take a stitch line. See how this can get poofy here, depending on what kind of batting you used. I'm just going to take a lap all the way around here. Actually, I've already done the middle of the sides. And I just need to go, I'm just going to go ahead across here to the other side, even though I've already sewn that, just to make it quick. I'm going to back this up a little bit. I went a little bit too far. And just keep going along the side of here, just to keep this smushed down to make it easier when we sew our zipper into the main piece. Okay, and let's see, and we're done with that part. Okay, now I'm going to take my zipper piece and I'm going to fold it in half lengthwise, like that, matching up the edges, and I'm going to take and mark right here the halfway point on each side. This will help me when I'm lining up to install this zipper piece to the bag, to the main piece. So we've got it marked on both sides. Okay, we can set this aside and we're going to get our main body piece back out and we are going to secure our handles down. And if you have a tag, you could have done it when you did your lap around, your label. You could have done it when you did your lap around this main bag, and I forgot. So right now I'm going to just put my label in here just to leave my mark on things. I have now changed back to my HP foot and plate where I'm going to do the remainder of my sewing with this combination. So I've got my zipper, my tag in there now. Okay, and so now back to the handles, what we're supposed to be doing. Okay. So remember that mark we made on our handle? Right now, we are going to hold this securely with our left hand, and we're going to undo our clips, and we're going to stick it in here, and we're going to go across that mark that we made, back and forth, right? And then I'm going to make sure my machine is set up to where when I stop with one stitch, it's going to lift up my foot for me. So now I'm going to go diagonal across to this corner one time and back and forth until I feel like stopping. And then I'm going to go down the side and get this side secured on, back and forth. Just back and forth over that line, and then I'll stop down here at the bottom and go across. Remember, your handles take a beating on things, so you want to make sure they're securely down. So all we're doing is going back and forth, and we'll go like this and get this stitch down here. we'll stop when we're at the top of this so we can go one more diagonal. And turn this around and go to the next corner. So, and this kind of gives like a little decorative look to your bag and serving a purpose of keeping it tacked down really nice. So that is how you do the X's on your handles. So we'll go through and do this, and we'll be back after we get them all done, unless you want to stay on.
We'll just do one more.
I see your back hurting, so.
We'll just do one more.
Okay, right like that. Back and forth, getting that tacked down real good. Go down to your opposite corner. If you have a hard time doing this, you could also mark it and just follow your markings. After you've done this a few times, you really won't need to do that. But whatever it takes for you to get the job done. And I probably don't do it in the same way every time. It doesn't matter, because I'm getting that X put on there, which in turn is tacking this down real good. And that is your, uh-oh, I got off kilter there. That's fine. It's okay. It'll be all right. Okay. So this is one side, and of course you're going to go and do it on the other side, and we'll be back after that. All right, now we are going to need to keep these handles out of our way while we're sewing in our zipper. So we're going to bend this down right like this and literally put it right sides together like that, and get you a pin and keep this pin down. That way it stays out of your way when you're trying to sew. Okay, so we're going to take this, bend it down, face down, right sides together, pin it out of our way. And now these handles are totally out of our way, and we don't have to ever worry about sewing them in, which is why we have them placed where we have them placed. All right, so remember that dot we made on the half of the chalupa, half of the
Main
half moon template? Remember when we made that dot? Now we're gonna match right sides together, that dot on your zipper piece and that dot on your main piece, and match those up. Then we're gonna take a pin and just hold that in place, okay? Now we're going to take our wide mouth clips and we're gonna follow our pieces. Now remember, we tacked those down, we took that lap around, and when we took the lap around here, that was all so these pieces right here wouldn't be poofy while we're trying to sew them. So we're just following along down here, keeping these sides matched up, and we are preparing to sew that zipper in. And you'll be so proud of yourself because it's so easy. Now, as we're coming down here to this side here, the end here, see this seam right here? That's the seam of the base of your chalupa bag, okay? This seam, we're gonna come down here, and when we get to that seam, we're gonna mark our piece right here. That indicates where that seam is, okay? All right, let's put a pin in it, or let's put a clip in it, and hold that. Now we're gonna go.
You gonna tell them why that mark was significant?
Yeah, in a minute. And now we're gonna do this along the same way along the other side. So we're gonna just keep following our pieces along down until we get to that base seam. Am I staying on camera? And keep following this along, matching this up. Okay, now we're down here to this seam again, right? So we're gonna stretch this across here, and we're gonna feel where that seam is, and we're gonna mark our piece, okay? Now let's keep that in place. Now this original mark that you did on this first side over here, this is where we're going to drop our needle and start sewing, right where that seam is. Not on the seam, right where it is. So we're gonna drop our needle, and we're gonna just go forward and just back it up just a couple times. Get it like that. And now see how this is stretched apart a little bit? We can put our finger in here and just get it to where this is matching up on the edge here. So you're just gonna remember when you're sewing this that the zipper is, you know, you're looking at the zipper tape. And
back side.
Yeah, the back side of the zipper tape. But it helps you to know how you're supposed to orient the piece to sew it more easily. So I'm gonna just keep this going along this curve here.
And how much of a seam do you?
I'm doing a 1/4 inch seam with my HP foot and my HP plate. I find this combination to be my favorite for almost all sewing, especially if I have to have a 1/4 inch. So this whole time I'm kind of putting my hand in here and my thumb in here, and I'm manipulating this to where these edges are still matching up. So we're going to come down here to the middle where we had started. We're going to take this out of our way and then keep going. These are magic fork pins. I like that for that purpose there, to hold the chalupa bag in that center point. And we're going to just keep this going along here, removing our clips as we get to them. It's only a slight curve. Now we're down here to the end again where we had made our mark, right? So we're going to keep this matched up. We're going to come down here, and we're going to stop where our mark is and back it up a little bit, a couple times, and cut it off. So now your bag should look like this, okay? Right now we're going to unzip this zipper a little bit more, and now we'll prepare to do the other side. Okay, so now we are going to match up our other side, our black dot to black dot. There we go. Pin it in place. And now travel down the side like you did before on the opposing side. Just keep it going. Down, down, down. It's starting to look like a chalupa bag now, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're down here. Gonna come down here and make our mark. Again, I'm just feeling where that seam is, yeah. And we're gonna make our mark right there. And then we're gonna do it to the opposite side. We can pin that in place there. And now we're gonna do it to the opposite side. So here we go. Get my, I love these wide mouth clips. They're strong enough to hold projects like this. And I very seldom ever use any other kind of clips anymore. Okay, we're coming down on this side. So we're gonna make a mark here. Okay. Now remember when I said I like to sew with my zipper facing up? So this is how I'm gonna do this. Now remember my zipper's partially unzipped. I'm gonna put my hand in here and just straighten it out from underneath. And then I'm gonna hold this smashed down. I'm gonna match up, I'm gonna drop my needle right there where that black mark is. I'm gonna put it in there, do a little back stitch in here. Now this whole time I can put my hand in here and keep these edges lined up properly. I can either put it like that or I can hold it like this, either way. But I'm able to manipulate that a little bit when I need to. See, right here it's got a little wrinkle like that, so I'll go in here and just manipulate it that way. Keep going all around to the side. When I get to the middle here, I'll pull this out. So I usually try to keep my clips in until I'm coming up on them. Now remember, I'm not having to worry about sewing over my handles because they were placed properly. Okay. Like that. And down here like that. And we're going to stop when we get to our black mark or we feel where our seam is. Back it up a few times, cut it off. Now you can reach in here and unzip this a little bit, and then you can unpin your handles because they're not going to be, you don't want to get poked when you're going to turn this thing inside out, right sides out. So for now, I'm going to just zip this up just a little bit. And now I'm going to hold this right here. I'm going to stick my fingers in like this. And I'm going to line this up going straight across here. And then I'm going to flip it.
That was the purpose of your black mark at the seam area.
Yeah. I'm going to flip it over like that. And I'm going to sew with my edge of my foot along the inside of this right here. So, see here? I'm going to drop down and I'm going to back it up a couple times. And I'm going to go across. Now, where I know my zipper area is, I'm going to go a couple of times back and forth. And then I'm going to just go right off. Back it up a couple times. Now, it's going to look a little funky right here. See how that kind of looks a little funky? But we will cut the excess off here. Now we're going to stick our fingers in again and just line this up. It's not going to line this, and this is not going to line up perfectly most of the time. So you're just going to make sure that it's straight, and then use the lining part as your guide when sewing this. Just go 1/4 inch, go a few times over the zipper area and all the way down and back it up. Now we can cut this excess off. Isn't it cute? You already know it's so cute. Okay, we're gonna cut this zipper excess off right here so it's not so bulky. Okay, get that out of your way. Same way with the other side. Now, if you really wanted to, you could go and serge the sides of the inside of this bag, but I don't feel the need. So I am going to just unzip my zipper, and I'm going to flip this right sides out, and we are going to have the cutest chalupa bag. It's easy to flip it inside out because you've got your zipper area being able to be pulled out all the way. So, and there's our little tabs coming to life. Now, when you're pushing these out, just make sure you're pushing your corners out good. And I like to take my mommy stick that I have a bunch of bobbins on right now. Let me take those off. And just poke out my corners so they're nice and poked out. Be careful not to poke through. And just straighten this up all the way around Poke out these corners if you got corners that needs poking, like that. And I mean, if you wanted, you could iron it, or I think sometimes I do iron it throughout the process, but it's not necessary. But there you go. Look at that cute,
Ta-da.
cute chalupa bag. I like to go like this with the handles so they stay up, but
Put it over here.
where? Right here. Yay.
Look at the chalupa bag. All right, you guys, we're all done. Congratulations if you've made along with us.